In this video, I want to talk about whether or not you should hire a financial planner, why you might hire a financial planner, when you might hire a financial planner, and why I often think that the decision to hire a financial planner, as well as the initial outreach, usually lands on the person in the household who's doing that, what I call invisible labor of making sure that the household is keeping itself held together and tasks like this are getting done and everyone's needs are being. So let's just start here. Should you hire a financial planner? Look, I don't think everybody needs a financial planner. Not everybody needs a trainer at the gym either. And that's the analogy that I love to use is that, look, there's plenty of YouTube videos out there. You can go out and you can figure out how to go to the gym, how to do the exercises, when to do them, what order, create your whole workout plan to get you to whatever goal it is that you're wanting to achieve. And in my world, like this is training for a marathon because I've done that several times in my life. So you don't need the trainer. You can do all your research, read all the books, get on all the videos, and you can create your own workout plan and be successful doing it. Hiring a financial planner is largely the same thing, right? You can learn, you can read all the books, you can watch all the videos, you can talk to all the friends, talk to the family members. Like you don't need a financial planner. You can figure out all that stuff and ultimately reach your goal, which is usually retirement and, not outliving your money so that you're living under a bridge in a box eating cat food. What a financial planner and a trainer at the gym have in common is that we often see pitfalls that you would not see, and we're going to see them sooner. And we will often get you to your point of success faster and more easily and more efficiently. And with any luck, keep you from getting injured. Right? That's what we're really here to do, is to just help you do this in a more efficient way and a more reliable way. And again, just trying to keep you out of trouble. The people that gravitate towards hiring a financial planner are those people that don't want to learn this stuff on the weekends and they want somebody that is going to be around to help them. And what they usually recognize, so these are the reasons to hire a financial planner. What these people usually recognize is that they don't have the competence for this or they don't want to gain the competence for it to the point where they feel really good about the decisions that they're making. They want somebody else who does this every day, day in and day out, to help guide them, right? They're not wanting to become an expert in financial planning. The second reason is that they usually want the convenience of it. I don't really like that word very much. What they want is for this to be handled in their lives in a way that makes them feel good about what they're doing about their financial well-being. Like all my clients come to me because they care a lot about their financial well-being, but they don't necessarily want to become financial planners. They just want to make good decisions. And my experience is that people make really good decisions when they have all the data in front of them. Problem is there's so much data out there now on the internets and in the books and all the things. And so it becomes then very difficult to sort through, okay, what applies to me? How does this impact what I did over here? How does this impact what I want to do later on? Like all of those things start to come into play. So there is a convenience factor. There is somebody who can come in and synthesize information and put in front of you what I'll call a decision tree about, okay, here's how you're going to make this decision. And that's wildly convenient. It saves you so much time and effort and angst and frustration, mentally, emotionally, spiritually, psychologically, the whole thing. And so that's reason number two that people usually hire a financial planner. The world is not getting less complex. It's generally getting more complex. The third reason that people want a financial planner is that most of us in the finance world, and I'm using that very big, seem to speak another language. And frankly, sometimes we do. We say crazy things like you're going to pay an after-tax bill with pre-tax money, and you kind of sort of get that, but then you kind of don't. And so to have coordination among professionals, like as a financial planner, I'm so often working with tax preparers and CPAs and accountants and business managers and other financial experts within somebody's lives, estate planning attorneys, sometimes personal injury attorneys. Like it can be a wide variety of other experts, but to be able to have a hub and a wheel that can talk to all those other spokes, get all that other information, and then be able to, again, synthesize it in one place so that you can make good decisions about your life. That coordination is enormously valuable. It shortens the time in which you can make these decisions because you can get all the information that you need relatively expeditiously and in a way that you can understand it, because I will switch back to normal English so that you can understand what is going on and again, make good decisions about your life. And the last thing that I think people come to financial planners for is, I don't like the word coaching either, but that's really what it is. Even once you've made a decision, how do you make sure that you follow through on that decision, that it gets done, the paperwork gets signed, the phone call gets made, the data gets gathered, like being able to, what I call drive the bus, push those decisions through and get those things handled so they're not sitting on your plate anymore. And again, you can go to bed at night feeling like you've done good things on your behalf just for your financial well-being. So those are the things that bring people to financial planning. It's that competence piece. I don't want to learn this stuff on the weekends. It's that piece around convenience. I want this to be done and I want it to be done well and expeditiously and efficiently in my life. It's that piece around coordination. I want to make sure that all of my financial people are talking to each other so that I don't have to understand their language necessarily, but I can get somebody to explain it to me in a way so that I can make good decisions about my life. And then this last piece around just making it all happen, driving that bus, getting those things done so that those to-dos are off of your list. So that's generally why people end up hiring a financial planner. So let's talk about when you might hire a financial planner. I have so many things I can say about this. Young people are not really taught finance at any point in their education. They're taught all kinds of other things, but they're really not taught personal finance. Or if they are taught personal finance, it's once or twice in the course of a 20-year educational career. And so I think that there is a lot of information that's lacking. And I think that we often then pick up habits that we learn from our families or our friends that may not actually really be serving us anymore. So I think the earlier that you can hire a financial planner, the better. You start to get much more clearer about who you are, how you want to live your life around money, what you need to do in order to achieve your goals. I think that's enormously valuable. And so I encourage people, even when they're young, to start to look into getting a financial planner and just try to find one that will work with you in a way that is cost effective. But, when you get your first job or when you're going to get married or have a kid or you're going to change jobs or you lose a job or you're going to buy a house, any of these, what I'll call life events, might be a really good time to engage a financial planner. I have a dear friend of mine who, engaged a financial planner very early in her life because she had parents that she had to support. And she didn't understand, okay, what are the tax implications of this? What are the gift implications of this? Like, how do I manage this in my life without it dragging me down so much that it impacts my financial well-being? And she's been enormously successful in her personal finance as a result. So, engaging somebody early can actually be a huge benefit. I think there's a couple of other places where people also tend to hire a financial planner. And again, sort of around big life events. They're getting ready to send a kid off to college. That's making my phone ring these days. They want to take time off from work, either a sabbatical, leave of absence, they want to start a new business, any number of things that might take their professional lives in a different direction. That's a wonderful time to be consulting with a financial planner. And then I think there is just a level of complexity in life that sometimes people reach where they're like, okay, I've been doing this on my own for a really long time. Even if by accident, I've been living within my means, been managing my career, I've been saving money, even if in my 401k, like they've been doing all the right things, even if by accident. And now they've just reached a level of complexity. Okay, I'm now married to somebody. I got 2 kids. I've bought this house. I'm thinking about buying another one. My spouse lost his job. And now all of a sudden it just gets more complex. And what is the impact of all the financial decisions that I'm making? And I think that's another time when I generally get called. It's like, okay, I was doing great on my own and now things are just more complicated and I want more help. And this also happens when people start to see the horizon of retirement, or what I call phase 3. Phase 1, you were a kid. Phase 2, you were working. Phase 3, you're moving on to what has heart and meaning for you, whether you're getting a paycheck or not. And when that horizon starts to come into view, where people start to realize, oh, wow, I'm going to go from making money and saving it to not making money and spending it, and realizing how terrifying that might be, that's also a time when people tend to engage a financial planner. So I think those are really good life event things that would bring somebody into a financial planning office. Now, there's this whole piece about how does a family make this decision and then who actually does the outreach. And by family, I mean, it could be a family one or a family of 10. I'm just using family very loosely in this situation. And typically in a family, again, whether it's a family of one or a family of 10, there is somebody in the family, generally speaking, that's doing what I call the invisible labor that takes up a lot of energy and time, but they are the ones that are kind of keeping track of the household and making sure that everybody's needs are getting met and the household responsibilities are getting handled. So they're the person that remembers to send the birthday card out to mom or to the mother-in-law. They're the ones that remember that Easter is coming up or a special day for somebody is coming up. They're the ones that are making sure that the dentist appointments are getting made, right? This invisible labor is what I call it of a household. And look, I don't want to be sexist about this, but in very traditional heterosexual couples, it usually lands on the female, and she's the one that's usually making the phone call. So I will say to people when I'm out networking that I often am working with the woman of the household, or I'll say I work with women-driven households. And what I mean by that is that the woman of the household is making that phone call. She might not even be the most financially savvy one, but she's the one that knows that this needs to get done. And she's the most concerned about it. She has some reasons to be concerned, right? She's the one that's most likely to live longer. She's the one that's most likely to leave a job to care for other family members. She's the one that's most likely to spend more time in long-term care as she ages. Like there's some very direct financial reasons that the woman of the household might be really genuinely concerned. But most of the time she's reaching out because she knows this needs to get done and get handled. She wants to know her family's going to be okay. And, I have a lot of same-sex couples in my life, both male and female, just given the fact that my business base is in San Francisco. It's not even really about a woman, because even in two women families, there's somebody in the family that generally is taking on, again, that invisible labor. We know this needs to get handled. We're going to make the phone call. And in, same-sex male couples, same thing. There's just somebody in the couple that generally is looking out after this particular piece. It also splits this way when I've got married couples as well. There's usually somebody who's paying the bills, and there's usually somebody keeping track of the big picture. And sometimes those are the same people, but often they're two different assignments to two different people. And there's nothing wrong with dividing of assets, divide and conquer, right? There's certainly nothing wrong with dividing that work up. It's just that the person that is now usually not consciously identified, but the person that is, keeping track of, okay, is our family okay? Are we doing okay? How do we make sure that we take care of these things for our family, that are usually doing the initial outreach, which is perfectly fine. And that's how they land in my office. So those are the reasons that I think I tend to work with women-driven households. And again, while I will often make first contact with that person in the family that's doing what I call that invisible labor of just making sure that the family's financial well-being is all in place. So those are my thoughts on, do you need a financial planner? Why you would want to hire one, when you should be hiring one, and why I believe that the outreach and the decision about hiring a financial planner often lands on that person in the family that I think is doing what I call invisible labor. If you have any questions, you're welcome to reach out. And if you are a woman-driven household, or you are the person in the household that is responsible for making sure that the household's financial well-being is in place, I'd love to hear from you. I'm Jessica Lanning. Lanning Does Planning.